Hello there. Welcome to my final C Sharp presentation for my time at Chat Tech. I'm very excited to be presenting the Chat Bank app that I've been working on. And yeah, basically, I'm going to go through it, the functions that it can perform, and the functions that were required, while also showing the results in the database. Basically, going through the app, and yeah, let's get started. So as you can see, we have the application here on the left with some pre-recorded pre-inputs, just to make debugging and testing a lot faster. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with the admin side of things. Obviously have the admin and the 123 already written up there. But once you sign in, you can then choose from any number of customers. Well, not any number, but you can choose any customer you want, and basically their information will pull up. So if we go 3002 and we hit select, oh, there we go. It's still a little slow. Yeah, all the customers' information pulls up, and I added this little handy customer password reset, so that way you don't have to spend too much time manually resetting it. You hit reset and it takes the person's last name and generates a random number and it recreates it. In an ideal situation, it would send an email to the person saying this is what your password is, but just for the purposes of this program, I'm not going to be doing that. And yeah, basically from here you can edit. Let's say we want to edit the person's zip, so the zip code right here is 100. So if we want to edit that to, let's say, 3000, and we click update and we restart the database, it should have 3000. As you can see, there it is, 3000. It's been updated. And so yeah, that's one of the features. Now let's say we want to add a new one. We'll do 3011 because there's already 310 in there, and we'll give this name test. We hit add, refresh. I wish there was a faster way to refresh the database, but yeah, there it is, Danza, and it generates a password automatically, and there it is. So yeah, that works. And then let's say we want to delete that same one. Well, you can just hit delete, and let me see if I can refresh. Yeah, I don't have to click exit anymore. I can just hit F5. Who knew? Anyway, so yeah, if I just hit F5, then it refreshes and that's gone. So yeah, that's great. So the person that we've now selected, updated, added, and successfully deleted. So that's all that we had in store for the admin. Now let's go back to the customer. This is where the meat and potatoes are at, and this is what I want to focus on. So if we look at the password right here is 1234. If I type anything other than that, if I type ugga bugga bugga bugga, it shouldn't log in, and obviously it doesn't. But if I type the correct password of 1234, then it signs us in. And now the cool thing about this is that it loads up all the account information based on the customer, so that the customer's accounts are tied to the customer business object, and it makes things simpler to identify where the problems are at when it comes to debugging and stuff like that, so you don't have to go through too much to fix those errors. But anyway, so three of the functions that we needed were to create a new account, deposit money into a selected account, and withdraw from that account. Now with the first of those being being able to create a new account. So in order to do that, it's really simple. All you have to do is choose an account type. So you've got savings, check, and mixed. I'm assuming that's what MMA stands for, but I'm not a financial person by any means. But MMA, it's not boxing, but yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun. So we'll go with checking instead and hit checking. Now, when you create the new account, it just creates a new account with a balance of 0, and as you can see, it's a new checking account. I did not add the function to delete it, but I definitely wanted to. But for the requirement that for what was required of us for this project, we didn't need to add one, so therefore I didn't. But I definitely wanted to. Thought that would be great to show off. But moving on, so we've now added the 9,014, and keep in mind, you adding a new account, you didn't have to add, you didn't have to manually type in that account's number, because you think about it, in a real world situation, the person creating a new account is not going to type out that information. The computer will generate that for them, and that's what I did. I made it so that the account number is automatically generated by counting how many accounts have been created in total. So moving on, let's say we want to now deposit money to that account, and keep in mind, this is not transferring. If we were transferring, we would have to take money from one account to the other account. Again, for the purposes of this assignment, all they really needed us to do was to deposit money. So this money, let's say it's coming from cash, so let's deposit $1,000 into the account of 9,014, and all you do is hit confirm. Okay. Yeah, I need to fix that. The max amount I put as 100, but that's no big deal. You can deposit as much money as you want. Moving on. Same with withdrawal. Like, let's say we want to withdraw from that same account. And a cool thing, and again, is that you don't have to manually type this out. You can just hit the combo box, which automatically gets the information, and then you can withdraw $10 from there. And if we check the accounts, 9,014, if we hit refresh, is at 90, which is pretty much accurate. Now, when it comes to withdrawing more than the regular balance, it's just a small little thing that I gotta fix, But yeah, and then if you want to update your password to something else, you can do that. Your address, you can't obviously update your ID or your name, because that's your ID and your name. Probably email too. But yeah, let's say we wanted to change from Denver to, I don't know, Georgia, and then we hit update. Data updated. So let's see here. 3001 Georgia. There you go. I didn't even have to hit F5. It already updated. So yeah, we can go back home now, and we can log out, and that should be it. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good rest of your day. Now, before I finish the video though, I am gonna fix that little issue that we just had a second ago. Hold on. And this is part of me just showing that, I built this code and I am responsible for it, and I would know how to fix the issues that came up. There you go. The maximum is probably set to 100, so if we set that to infinity, we shouldn't have a problem now. And the minimum probably $10. Same with this one. Whenever it decides to work. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Sing forever. Lord help me. Okay, there we go. So maximum and minimum 10. Now, another cool thing here is the code is very concise. Like I mentioned earlier, being able to create a new account was one of the cool features that I had. Where did I put that at though? It was the customer home. and it being able to only focus on one thing. So if you click on deposit, it blocks out all the other options so you can focus on depositing. Now, when I was building the app, I didn't want to send the user to a whole different form just to make a deposit. So I made it so that it can just be covered up by simple pane. And I created this method called generate account right here. Customer home. See, so it generates based on the account number, and we add 9,000 to that, and then we get obviously +1, and then we get whatever we needed. Now the core thing was the refresh accounts. Now I could have, inside my customer home form had all this code in there, and then if I needed to fix something, I wouldn't know where to go. So instead I created a method called refresh accounts, and then if I need to fix something, I can come back here and get it. Basically what it does is it collects all the data for the customer and that person's address, and then it collects the account list tied to that customer because that's how it's built. And from that account list, we're able to then create an array and store all of the accounts, and from there I created another array, a string array that collects that data and stores it as string, and then use the for loop to display that. So use the for loop to collect and display that information to the label info.txt. So instead of having many different labels, because that's something I struggled with in my earlier projects when it came to C#, now I just have one label and it just adds all the information to it and is able to display that information. Now the one thing I need to do before submitting is to add a little bit more documentation, but I'm pretty sure I'll get that done. And yeah, once again, my final video. Hope you enjoyed, and you got to see the Chatbank project. I don't have anything more to say. Till next time.